Bruh, did you pour my milk? Don't do that. What's that?
I'm kind of a big deal.
You don't got the credentials.
Well, that's disrespectful.
Yo, what up? We here, we outside, son. We here. Man.
What's that? What's that?
The Don't Pour My Milk podcast.
Yes, sir.
First episode, we here.
Episode 1.
Introduce yourself, bro.
I'm that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Not humble, huh?
I mean, that's why my arms are this big, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Look, so, pause. But anyway, right? Here's the thing. I'm a commissioner. I'm a great fantasy football player.
Yep.
Actually, the best you ever met. I've taught you a lot. And
I think it's the other way around.
No,
I'm gonna let you continue.
I'm a multiple champion.
I think it's the other way around.
And look, before you do your little introduction, talk about how many championships you won.
Because
I'm a
you
multiple.
know.
Listen, we are going to concentrate on a real league. So I'm gonna preface by saying, in the real league, I'm a multiple champion. Continue.
All right.
Yeah,
All right,
Charlie.
So, it's my intro. Name's Cattle 4. You can follow me at the Mr. Knockout Fantasy Football. You'll see it down below on all platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Catch me where you can. And then he knows I'm gonna talk about my credentials.
Talk.
Playing for the last 12 years.
Allegedly.
15 championship appearances.
Allegedly.
And 10 championships.
These are not verified accounts, though, guys.
Listen, 4 with this guy. You see? Have you not witnessed me winning 4 championships?
I
I think you
witnessed
have. I'm gonna cut you off because I think you have.
one
Right?
championship in a subpar league. No offense, Andy. In a league that we both behind his back say does not count.
Man.
But go ahead, continue.
Shout out to my man Andy. Man.
Oh no! Shout out to you, Andy. You're a good guy. But your
So
league.
listen, we here to offer you fantasy football advice.
Yes.
The best advice that you can get on the YouTube, on the podcast, on whatever you're listening to us
Yes,
on.
sir. Yes, sir.
I think we're just going to give it to you a little bit more flavor. We're going to give you those numbers, the research that we do. We dive in very deep, giving you sleepers, breakouts, pickups, whatever you need to win your league. We're going to help you knock that home run out. All right? All right, so let's get started. But let's tell the listeners about why we named it Don't Pour My Milk. Don't Pour My Milk. I'm going to let you take lead on that.
Okay. The concept of pouring your milk. Everyone in here has poured a bowl of cereal before.
Yes, we have.
And everybody likes to eat their milk, their cereal different,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I like my cereal soggy. How do you like your cereal?
I use a little bit of
The
milk.
point is, you don't know how I like my milk in my cereal.
Yep.
So you cannot pour my milk. So that just refers to how I like to build my team, how I like to do my research, how I like to go about building my fantasy team. Please keep your advice to yourself because I know how I want to do what I want to do.
So during the series of what we're going to talk about, you're going to get a different perspective from not just myself, but from O as well.
Okay.
In the future, we'll probably have some guests and they'll pour their own milk, figure out like what they're going to do. But we'll always kind of give you some substance behind why we're going in that particular route. So we just want to let you know, hey, this is why we chose the Don't Pour My Milk name.
Pour my milk, man.
I think it's something that speaks to both of us. We're both leaders in our own right in
Very
regards
much
to
so.
fantasy football.
Yes.
Because we're always at the top echelon of our league, but we do it a different way.
Yeah.
Where I may do it by in-depth research and strategy, and then O's on the other end
Here we go.
scheming.
Pouring my milk. Don't. You're pouring my milk. I'm a schemer, and I'm a businessman. I'm a people person. You know what I mean?
I don't.
You gotta feel the league out
I'm putting
and
that out
see how you want to get it done.
Some of those trades, man, I don't know. I just feel like some of those trades got some back end deals. There's some back alley.
Listen,
deals that happen,
man.
but
There's
gonna talk
politics in
about-
everything we do.
We're gonna talk about trades. We're gonna talk about pickups, breakups, sleepers,
Yes.
everything that we got. I think we're here just to talk about like who we are, how we're gonna help, what we're gonna do to make everyone's league better, and then we're just gonna give you some strategies. So this first episode is just to talk about our strategies, right?
Yes.
How we kind of build our teams and have an outlook on what we're doing for fantasy football, whether it be from the draft and what we do after the draft.
Okay.
I tend to want to just like draft a team and do it per style of league. So whether we're playing in a standard league or we're playing in a PPR league, it depends on how I'm going to draft. Popularity is PPR. Our league honestly just switched over to PPR.
We just switched, made the power switch.
And you saw the major difference that it was a balance from wide receivers to running
runners.
backs.
See, with standard leagues, it's runner heavy.
It is.
PPR gives it a little balance, so it creates more strategy,
Yep.
right? In terms of who you draft, when you draft them, how do you want to build your league. In our league, we have multiple flex positions. So all of that comes into play when you're doing your strategy.
So most of the advice that we're going to give you is going to be in regards to PPR leagues. From here moving on, I think standard leagues, even though it says
You
standard,
can show some standard, some love.
it's
though.
kind of. I mean, most of the advice we're going to give you, especially with drafting, we're going to probably stick to at least half PPR. Just
I
like
think half PPR is probably
will be the best option, and that's what we'll kind of
Yeah,
go
yeah.
through in this particular podcast when we're ranking players, when we're talking about strategies, when we're talking about round pickups, breakouts, and sleepers.
Right.
When we're just talking about pickups of the week throughout the whole season, we're going to base it on the half point PPR, and that'll work.
I have a question for you.
What's your question, bro?
PPR master,
Yep, that's me.
right?
You already know it.
The one that made us switch to PPR.
You already know it, man. That's
Right.
what I do.
The PPR god.
I offer insights.
Okay. So I need some insight, man.
Yeah.
Strategy.
Yep.
Half PPR.
Yep.
What is your strategy going into this year?
Best player available.
Let me take some notes on because
Yeah, take some notes.
Right.
So, hey, listen.
not
like,
because you're good, but just because I want to know when I have to beat you again. Yeah.
Listen, first 5 rounds, you're going to get a gem. If you know what you're doing, no matter what, you're going to get a gem. You pick a player that you know is going to fit your team. And I'm not opposed to like when the 3rd round comes around. I think you've seen it in the past years with picking up a quarterback, especially if I have him ranked as my number 1 quarterback on my end.
Right.
Right? So I'm always going to try to hit the best player available. Like if you're drafting a player like Travis Kelce at the back end of like your 1st round, I'm not going to advise that you take a quarterback in the 3rd round because that's going to really mess up your team balance.
Okay.
Right? You're going to have to stick to trying to build up your wide receivers and running backs.
So more importantly, I want to ask: best available player or need?
I never really draft for need.
Really?
Unless I'm heavy in a certain position. I always draft best player available, no matter what. There's a reason why
I got to
always-
fill my team out, right? And we're going to talk about tier systems, right?
Yeah.
And how we build our teams and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
we'll have a whole episode on tiers.
we'll do the tiers. But in terms of building your team,
Yep.
first pick, second pick, third pick, wide receiver, running back, quarterback. For those out there that say, hey, quarterback is the most important position, you're supposed to draft him first. Do you draft the quarterback first?
It just depends. Like, okay, so
That's
like
death, bro.
it
You have to
depends.
keep it real with the people.
I'm gonna keep it real. So I'm gonna tell you right now. So coming into this year, I got 2 quarterbacks on my list that I feel like I will grab in the 3rd round if no one
See?
takes them.
You said 3rd round.
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah.
So first and second round, what are you drafting?
best player available.
Best player available, best position player available.
Best player available. Doesn't really matter if it's 2 wide receivers, if it's running back heavy, if I'm getting 2 running backs. I'm gonna get the players that's gonna give me the most points. Especially with a half point PPR league, if I can get, let's say if I get 2 players like Stephon Diggs and Devontae Adams back to back, I'm taking them. If I get Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams, I'm taking them. If I get Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs, I'm taking both of them because they're gonna give me the most. To me, you're telling me I'm drafting them at the back end of the 1st and the beginning of the 2nd round. I'm not going to get the same type of quality out of my running backs that I'll get with that first echelon
That's
player.
that's the thing. That's the difference between me and you.
Yeah.
I'm going for the best available backs.
That's it,
But you see, this is the difference. This is the reason why I go further in our league than you. I'm just talking the facts.
you
Best,
talking.
best available is cute.
Let's get some clarity on this, all right?
Talk to me. What's up?
In our league,
Yes,
I've always been top 4, top 5 by the end of the season.
regular season. Yes,
You have always managed. So your draft
Yes.
is not as good as mine.
Okay,
Well,
let's- no.
Let me finish.
Cat,
Let me
cat,
finish.
cat.
Let me finish.
I'm gonna tell you the
Let
way
me finish.
I have to. This
Let
is
me
this is
finish.
blasphemy.
Because
Go ahead.
who makes more transactions throughout the year to build up their team?
Me,
Every year you're making transactions to trade names
100%.
that you have,
100%.
and you're building up your team
100%.
because and I'm making it at a higher seed with the team that I drafted.
Listen,
Although I'm picking up players in the free agency throughout the year,
It's personality,
if you really
bro.
look at it, I mean, fantasy in our league, it does have to do about personality.
It's
But I'm
personality.
talking about so not everyone can pull off what you can pull off.
But let me tell you. Let me stop you there, right?
Go ahead.
And I'm gonna put this graphic up. I'm gonna find it because I took a screenshot of it. For the last 3 seasons, I've had the highest day 1 draft score. The lowest I've ever gotten was an A-.
Nah, I'm not talking.
That's the
about
NFL telling me that I'm a
No,
professional.
no. I don't talk. I don't really care about that.
but,
Whatever ranking.
during the season things change.
ESPN, Yahoo.
I'm just
That
going by
doesn't-
the experts.
That doesn't mean anything to
They
me.
see that I'm also an
Nah,
expert.
no.
Okay.
No,
But you said you draft better than me, right?
I do draft better than you.
Allegedly. A big freaking allegedly.
You just admitted, Your Honor. You just admitted.
Yes.
He just admitted that I make less transactions throughout the year. I build my team up through free
I'm a
agency
perfectionist
because
and you know
I
that,
cannot.
bro.
I
Listen.
cannot maneuver the amount of trades that you do.
Cannot move like
to
I do.
build your team.
No.
So like, however you swindle,
It's not
everyone in the
this
league.
is where we get it personal. It's not swindling. It's my personality, bro.
I gotcha. But let's talk about strategies. Let's get back on task.
Okay.
Like, do you draft by A? So you're saying you don't go by ADP. You don't go by.
I
average
go
draft
by
position.
ADP in the later rounds. I don't. I need to fill out my team by filling. You got to do your research. That's number one.
So quick question:
Yes.
top 5 players in the draft. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first round. Who you picking?
I'm not gonna give specific names.
This is an advice league.
Wait.
What do you? What do you
No.
mean?
Oh, you're talking.
Top 5. So I'll give you my 5, so you can
Okay.
spill out to the
Top
rest of the
5.
league.
You
Top
talking about
5.
this year?
This year, I got Christian McCaffrey,
Agree.
Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, and Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
Do
Mine.
you agree?
I agree to some extent. I got Christian McCaffrey because it's PPR. I think that he's gonna have a bounce back here. Derrick Henry, workhorse.
You got him at number 2.
I got him at number 2.
Okay,
I
That's
got-
interesting.
Cook.
Number 3. Okay.
Kamara is. I'm not sure because of that situation. I believe it changed, but I have so much evidence from what he's done before. I'm gonna
Okay.
put him at number 4.
That's your 4.
Number
Who's your
5,
5?
I'm gonna round out with Barkley.
You are gonna. So you're gonna pick the same 5. Just reorder them a little
There
bit.
you go.
So no Jonathan Taylor.
Forget about Jonathan Taylor.
No Austin Eckler.
Who?
No Nick Chubb.
Chubb. There you go. I just live edited this. I'm gonna put Barkley at 6, Chubb at 5.
Would you ever? Do you think it's good fantasy advice to draft like a Travis Kelce in the first round?
Okay, so listen, let's talk about this, right? Because
Yeah.
a lot of this is
That's
about
what we're here for.
our
Yeah.
league. We're not gonna name some names of certain people that draft certain people in our league every year.
Shout out to Ryan.
Okay, so
That's who he's
so
talking
that's,
about.
that's what we're doing.
We're talking about Ryan.
Yeah, all right, big boy. Look, but yeah, he does, and it works for him.
Yeah. He has a positional advantage.
Yeah,
That's how I
because
see it. But do you agree?
I don't have the guts to draft a tight end in the first round.
Gotcha.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I think if I get past a certain amount of players, and then we'll put up our rankings are going to be on our webpage, so feel free to log on to it.
Definitely gonna put that up there.
As you get to a certain number, Travis Kelce does pose a positional advantage, and you can still come back to drafting someone in the same tier in a running back or wide receiver that you want. So just imagine you can have like a Travis Kelce and an Austin Eckler. You can have a Travis Kelce and an Aaron Jones. You can have a Travis Kelce and Stephon Diggs. However you want to build your team from that point on. But within that tight end, it's Travis Kelce, it's George Kittle, it's Darren Waller, then it's everybody else afterwards. You don't know what people are going to do. Mark Andrews had a horrendous beginning of the season last year. So he dropped down in my tier to be in that echelon. I think Kelsey's in his own echelon, and then you have George Kittle and Darren Waller in their tier.
That's tier 2.
And then you have, and that's tier 2. And then you have the rest from Mark Andrews down, tier 3, and then it's like throwing like dice afterwards. You
The thing with me, right, when you said first picks, my issue is there's always value in the later rounds with wide receivers because
I agree.
There's more value, but
agree.
if you miss, especially this year more than ever before, it's so much committees.
Running backs.
100%. Think about how many. I want you to go down the list. Just name. I'll name a team. There's only a few teams out there that don't have a committee. And it's those guys that we're talking about right now. Those top 5 guys, those are the guys that don't have a committee.
But we're like, I don't consider
outside of like Zeke, those.
Well, Zeke is gonna go towards the tail end. He didn't have a great year, so not everyone's on a Zeke.
He's still gonna be a second rounder.
You think he's gonna be a second rounder? No, he's considered. He's at average ADP. He's in the first round.
I think he's an early second rounder this year.
Okay, that's again, that's your milk.
Because a lot of people are gonna take your advice,
never taken away,
and are gonna go for the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Get more points than everyone else and start winning.
Like get knocked out in the first round because they don't have the depth.
Okay.
I mean, but everybody's different.
Someone's always living in the past. It's all good.
There we go. So, look, this is what we're going to be talking about on this podcast.
Yeah, we are. We're going to hit like
inside
topics.
Personal experiences as well.
Yep.
Have some guests up here, so that, you guys can have a little peek into the window of what is our fantasy life.
Absolutely. I still think we need to just like let them know like what else we're going to be doing towards the mid-tier rounds, what kind of strategy we take after, like, I consider, like, after that mid-tier round 7, like, what are you looking at? When do you normally go for, like, your sleeper breakout? We don't have to talk about who you pick up, but what round? For me, after round 7, I kind of round out my team. I'm looking for a breakout. I'm looking for a sleeper. I'm taking some chances because that's how I pretty much manage my team.
Yeah.
So
seventh round is the easiest round. Or it's like, everybody does that.
Yep.
Everybody reaches.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I think a lot of people still go by ADP. In 7th rounds, usually when I kind of shoot for the stars.
No. Everybody reaches in a round. And my reaching round is the 6th or the 7th round. No, sorry. The 7th or the 8th round. Because you figure by the first 6 rounds, I'm already shaping up my team.
Okay.
I got my starters. And now it's like, okay, this guy I believe in, let me get him before somebody else gets him. That's my cock blocking round, by the way, just so you know.
Do you believe in drafting a quarterback early?
I never do, because I feel like that's another position that if you don't get a Mahomes or one of those guys or Aaron Rodgers, right, in like the first 3 or 4th rounds.
So Aaron Rodgers' ADP wasn't as high as it was
no.
this year, but just what you're
if
talking
he
about
was,
this year, right?
if he's playing this year, it's going to be high.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, he's playing. He's good.
He's disgruntled.
I think they're doing everything in their power to appease him, and he's been setting himself up to succeed. But
I hope he does play because he is on my tier list.
So what I'm saying is that let's say if you have a run on quarterbacks and those higher echelon players,
right?
Do you start to like have to draft a player early? Or are you afraid that someone's going to pick up a backup quarterback and it's prevent you? Or
No,
do you feel like the NFL is deep enough with quarterbacks for you to keep those players going?
The backup quarterback pickers are usually in like the off leagues, but like serious leagues, nobody's picking up no backup quarterback in the first 10 rounds.
Okay.
Unless you want them for trade bait, but then you're thinking way too high.
I never drafted
Nobody's. Have you ever drafted a backup quarterback?
Yeah, I have. I've taken chances.
In what round?
Probably like in like the later rounds, like 13,
10,
yeah,
11,
14th
12,
round. Yeah,
after a defense. Or,
I wait. I wait.
It says it's not advisable
Yeah.
to tell the people to do something that we wouldn't do.
Okay.
My thing is, I usually go for quarterbacks. The value for me, the sweet spot is that 5th and 6th round.
Okay.
That's when you get the Drew Breeses and give me a good one.
What a quarterback? You
Quarterback,
looking for?
yeah.
So Drew Brees, Drew Brees isn't playing anymore. So
Well, obviously he's not playing. Obviously, he's,
So you're talking about like a Ryan
I'm talking
Tannehill.
about last year. Like,
you talking about last year? I'm talking about this year.
okay, so let's talk about.
moving
Okay, so let's concentrate on this.
So,
year.
yep.
Okay, so a sweet spot quarterback. I think Stafford is gonna have a breakout year this year.
You think so?
Yeah, but I know I could get Stafford in the 7th round.
But why do you think that if you know like everyone in our league is an expert and everyone's gonna be going for like that top tier play? So we have
Maybe I
like
might not
quarterback-
drop this episode
Yeah.
until after we draft.
No matter what we do, they're gonna snag them, and that kind of leads and transitions to my next question to you.
There you go.
What do you do while you're drafting, and can we advise on like how you draft and someone snags a pick that you had your heart set on? So like you're in the 5th round, you're there, you're waiting, and then you see Amari Cooper coming your way,
Right.
and then I just take him from you.
Okay.
How do you pivot?
Compose yourself. You always gotta have composure. Woosah. Right? Let's talk to the people right now. I'm talking to this camera. 99% of you guys are playing in a league of friends. People that you know, coworkers, people that you've studied their behaviors. Understand people's behaviors and understand people's patterns. And when they take your guy, you take their guy back. I'm a savage. You know me. Last year, you stole my cuff. Was it you that took my cuff?
who
My
was your
backup? I forgot. It's because he
Oh yeah. It was Derrick Henry's backup.
Yeah,
right?
Derrick Henry's
Yeah,
backup.
I held him for a long time.
You
on
were going to
rookies.
drop him. And I said, yo, I know you're going to drop him, but because you knew I needed him,
Yeah,
you said, I'm
really-
not gonna drop him.
You
now."
really wanted
and you
him.
really held on to that guy for 6 weeks.
I did.
Like a savage. That's understanding people's behavior.
I got you.
Now that I know,
Yep.
I'm just gonna woosah and just wait
I did.
till he becomes too heavy on your bench.
I did do that.
Yeah, you did do that. I remember it.
Yeah, it was very.
So
fun.
this year,
it pleased
watch your
me
cuffs.
because
you better draft your
you were
cuff
praying that
in the
Derrick
next
Henry
round.
stayed healthy, and I didn't
Draft your
I didn't
cuffs.
have any kind of like trade bait.
And you had no behavior doing that, bro.
I did the same thing for Christian McCaffrey's backup, and look what that got me. When
Yeah.
when I got Mike Davis on my team,
Yeah. You did that in 2 leagues, right?
I did that in our league.
Our league, okay.
Yeah, our main league. That was it. That's what I got him.
Study behavior is very important.
But that's awesome. All right, you want to give them any insight to any kind of like tips, tricks, sleepers that are out there before we go?
I'm going to keep that close to the vest. I'm going to let the guys on the Patreon page get some love on that.
So we're normally going to give you, we're going to have episodes that kind of concentrate on the sleepers, the
Definitely.
breakouts, the tier systems, how we go about picking our players, how we go about like watching the news outlets that are out there. We're going to offer you the research. We do have the Patreon page. You see it down below. Go ahead and
Support.
feel free to click. Listen, we got episode 1 in the books.
It's official.
Episode 1 in the books.
It's official.
Guys, focus hard. We do it great. We do it so big like we doing it for TV. Peace out. Have a great day, and we'll see you next episode.
Deuces. In the books.